Did you not hear that? You got the Bastion announcer pack.
I'm prepared for that one. Wait, what? No, it's not. Are you going?
I don't know. I thought you were going.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a Beyond Summit broadcast of the SinaCup, or the Supernova Cup. This is Tong Fu versus New Element Esport here, or NE for short, and today we're going to be seeing some old faces and some new faces as well. NE is the team that qualified, or that won the qualifier leading up to this tournament. Meanwhile, Tong Fu is obviously a roster that went very deep at TI, but they just says not good enough. Roster?
Well, I feel like they got the short end of the stick of the Chinese reshuffle. I don't
Yes.
think it was by their own choice that some of these roster changes happened.
You think their players got poached?
Yes.
Okay.
How definitely got poached by IG. It sounds like the Zhou as well. Some of the Tongfu management was upset when Banana left as well, and they've sort of just been very pressed for time as far as getting a roster together, and they had very few options as far as players go. So they brought in XTT, formerly of Vici Gaming. He actually left Vici Gaming some time ago, though, one of the first players to leave. And then ZSMJ, well, a legendary player in his own right, but he's going to be playing the support role, has been for some time with Vici Gaming. And then, of course, the former IG carry, Zhou, who's been slumping a bit here and there, but he's still a fantastic carry player.
Just on the names alone, like, these are big names. Like, ZSMJ, of course, past his prime. Mu, I think, is a very, very fantastic solo mid player. I think sometimes a little bit over-aggressive, sometimes missing the ball a bit, but overall, very, very good standard player. Zhou, obviously, you don't need to say anything about him. We've seen his lone druid micro from, time to time. It's always been that big. And, of course, Shansheng, he's also a fairly solid player.
Yeah.
These are not the players that will win a TI, but they'll do well. So
that's how I feel as well. It'll be a solid team. But it's not. You're not looking at a top 3 international team.
Yeah,
could be proven wrong. Who knows? It's one of those things where you don't have to get the best players in the world and put them together to make a world-class team.
I mean, you look at this Tongfu lineup and says they're not going to win TI. But if they don't 2-0 stomp any, then something's wrong. Because we don't really know anything about any, but you expect your mix-up of professional players, veteran players to beat some amateur team.
Yeah, all I know about any, it's Tony, who's one of the Chinese casters that casts the G1 league there. It's his like new team. He's like the manager who sort of runs the team. But they are a new upcoming team. He seems to be pretty confident in their ability, but they're going to go for a Wisp pick here. So
Wisp and Nature's Prophet. Didn't we see this yesterday out of, I believe, Yue?
Ogura Yui.
Ogura Yue.
Yeah.
This is hard. Yeah, Ogura Yue also picked Wisp and Nature's Prophet. It never really got off the ground, though.
They also level 1 Roshan against IG.
Yes.
Which is
successfully.
Ballsy, yeah. They didn't successfully do much successful from there on, but
5 seconds.
Well, Tongfu got Visage and Naga Siren, so standard sort of, I guess, top tier support picks in the current meta game, and they get both of them right off the bat here. So from this point on, any are just going to be looking to ban out your solos, ban out your carry heroes.
Yeah, the reason why these two heroes are very top tier in terms of support is that both of them do a ton of damage output. Of course, Visage, King of Magical Burst and the Soul Assumption 4-second cooldown. Naga Siren with the Riptide minus armor, which, by the way, both of these heroes deals quite well with Wisp and his tanky frame, or squishy frame, excuse me. And not only are they good at bursting heroes down, they're also very, very tanky. With Visage is Graves Cubic Cloak, as well as Naga Siren, 6 base armor. So with combination of being able to tank as well as able to dish out a ton of damage, that's why these two heroes are often considered as top tier support picks, despite not really having too much stun. Meanwhile, speaking of stun, Stormster is going to give you initiation across the map, but they're dealing with quite kind of elusive hero in the form of a Nerubian Weaver.
Yeah, and I think that's partly where the Stormspirit can tie in. If you can get a fast Orchid up for him, you can actually lock down. Really good against the Nature's Prophet split push. Great if you want to just jump on the Wisp and burst him down. And so far, any do not have any true disables. They've got a Tether, Tether's actually really annoying for Storm, because if there's two heroes tethered and they're pushing, you can't really... If you zip in, you have to position it so you don't get hit by the Tether, or else you instantly die.
Or you force your BKB as you zip, which is you're losing a little bit of value in terms of BKB timers. So, yeah, it is quite annoying to deal with. Also, Stormster is one of those heroes that will kill you eventually, but not quickly enough, such that a Wisp could tether and relocate and send him back home or in a more defensive position that we've seen Pilot I do from Kai P. So, depending on how the Wisp is going to be played, Stormster is going to have somewhat of a more difficult time. With that said, though, if Storm zips on Wisp with the Orchid on top of that, he's dead.
Yeah, I'm curious how any look to lane this, because they've got the Wisp support, Weaver as well as Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet most likely are off lane, but I feel like the Wisp Weaver don't really synergize all that well in the lane. Generally want to... Well, they synergize okay because you can get a tether stun with the Shikuchi, but I feel like it's not a good sort of roaming combo once Wisp gets relocate. I feel more likely to see Weaver go maybe as a solo mid, and you get someone else to go with the Wisp.
That's definitely a possibility, considering that Stormstripe does pretty poorly against Weaver. I'm not exactly sure how that 1v1 matchup goes. Stormstripe always does well against melee hero, and Weaver, the way that his playstyle is melee-esque because he has Tsukuchi up next to you and harass and things like that. So it could be okay. The one thing to talk about is that before this Nyx Assassin pick, Stormstripe was looking pretty good because it lacks the lockdown despite having a tether stun. But now, Nyx Assassin, if he ever gets a mana burn against Stormstripe, it's going to hurt quite a bit.
Yep, Timbersaw for Tongfu. So most likely either an off lane or some kind of a side lane solo hero. They could go with a Storm Spirit safe lane solo, maybe a Timbersaw mid, but this is probably going to be that off lane Timbersaw, which is very pesky and hard to deal with. Wisp at level 1 can't really zone him out of the lane, so Timbersaw, once he gets level 2, level 3, has 1 or 2 points in his passive with a Timber Chain to escape. He can't really be killed by this any tri-lane or whatever dual lane they're going to have.
Yeah, that's a big deal to talk about here. Because of reactive armor, your weak harass from Wisp is not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Nyx Assassin really can't harass. I mean, he can maybe try to mana burn, but it's not going to be enough, especially if Timbersaw is relying on reactive armor to survive early on. And Weaver does have some decent harass capability, but not really enough to beat, let's say, a level 2 reactive armor. So I think Timbersaw basically will have the free lane if he does match up successfully against Weaver, Wisp, and Nyx Assassin. So maybe the Weaver is going to be forced to go mid. A hero that's okay against Timbersaw, maybe something like Gyrocopter, who relies a little bit more on the magical side of the burst. Or maybe you just have a 1v1 matchup. Timbersaw is an excellent pick here for Tong Fu.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it's like you say, if they want to sort of zone him out of the lane, prevent him from getting levels, they need a stronger hero with the Wisp there. If they go with a Wisp, Weaver, Nyx Assassin, tri-lane, Timbersaw can get reactive armor level 1, can't even be zoned out before he gets his level 2.
He just walks in the lane, yeah.
He'll get that Timber Chain up, he'll go another point in reactive armor at level 3, and then from there start getting points in his nukes. But they go Keeper of the Light, so we're looking at Nyx Assassin solo mid. This is, I guess, Keeper of the Light does pretty well against the Timbersaw. He's got a lot of magic damage to burst him down, and with Keeper of the Light Illuminate, they should be able to... I think they can actually zone him out at level 1.
It depends on how many tangles Timbersaw is going to get pulled, and it depends on whether he starts on with a Stout Shield, which I want to say I guarantee he starts with a Stout Shield. There's no way that he doesn't. Also, Tong Fu not have a ban on the 5th ban. It doesn't matter. They're going to have a Morphling themselves, and look at the lack of lockdown coming out here from NE. Like, they have Shiki playing Nyx Assassin, and that's decent stun time. Tether is not really reliable, so unless we have a quick Orchid coming out from our Nature's Prophet or a quick Hex, how do you deal with Storm, Timbersaw, and Morphling? I feel like this is an outright outpick.
Yeah, this is, and not combine that with the fact that Tongfu have, to me, the superior support duo. They've got such a strong mid game with the burst damage that Naga, Siren, and Visage can just offer the team that it's going to be hard for them to fight this. Keeper of the Light Wisp, if they're ever anywhere caught out of position, they'll just get completely blown up. The supports can handle them. And similar story even for the core heroes. Weaver, Nature's Prophet, these are not tanky, durable heroes. The supports on the Tongfu side are just going to be able to punish what any have for themselves.
Yep, let's quickly introduce our contenders here for today, I guess. Any Shiki is going to be going mid here as the Nyx Assassin. ZZZ is going to be playing the Weaver. We have Will playing the Wisp. Shauna on the Keeper of Light, and last but not least, I believe this character means Tiger on Nature's Prophet, and looks like he's pulled 2 sets of Clarity. Let's see if he's going to start with a Glove of Haste and just go straight into the jungle, or he's going to be trying to do what a lot of Nature's Prophet players do nowadays: block the first couple of camps with a Stream, and then slowly go back to the jungle.
Well, over on the Tongfu side, they're playing on the Radiant team. It's their new roster. It's Sanshank playing on the Visage. We've got XTT as the Timbersaw, the side lane solo. ZSMJ on the Naga Siren. Zhou going to be playing Morphling. And then finally, the solo mid player who is still there with Tongfu. It is going to be Sanshang. He's gone for a straight Null Talisman and he's been pulled a Tango to help him out.
Well, let's quickly check out on XTT's item set here. He does have that, 6 sets of Tangos, or 6 Tangos, and a Stout Shield. He should be able to basically tide his way up to level 2. Once you get level 2, you could literally walk up to Keeper of Light with the threat of Whirling Death and then just zone him out. Very interesting war being placed here. I'm not exactly sure what this one is about. Somebody's pinged the hell out of that word, maybe saying that is a wrong word that you placed.
Yeah, it's a dire ward as
game is
well, which is
on.
what confuses me most. If you want to put it there, I mean, you just need to put it a bit further to the right so you get more vision down in this like lane
Generally,
here,
it's
but-
like a very popular spot to put over here.
Yeah.
Got a
Because
feeling
you
this is
see
gonna be good.
Hero going in. I'm not sure exactly what this one's about. Maybe it's just a slight mistake.
Yeah, that would be my guess as well. But I like that Timbersaur's chances in this off, and I think he can do just fine against this tri-lane. Something which I really like on the Timbersaur, especially against sort of tri-lanes who sort
We'll
of
talk
chip
about that
away.
later. Immediate smoke being
Ooh.
used right here on the level 1. We haven't seen level 1 gank for quite a bit. He doesn't have Impale because of that. Here we go. We're going to see if perhaps in Snare. Where's the slow? There's a Riptide to start. There's a slow. And a couple of right clicks. There's no Electric Vortex just yet. Still purple more right clicks. They are going to get the first, but ZSMJ will grab that one despite having very, very low base damage. A gank that Shiki did not expect because you generally do always start with level 1 Mana Burn here. So very nicely punished by Tongfu.
Yeah, they were expecting Annie to have that just tri-lane go straight towards the bottom lane. Wasn't the case, and that's a really smart thing that they can do. Just get that early gank to mid lane. I think it's something which could have almost been avoided. Nature's Prophet was sending Treants out to block these camps, and he should be reporting that, hey, these supports aren't here. They're not trying to pull. They're not actually in the lane as well. What else can they be doing apart from level 1 ganking mid?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to kind of say it now, but I guess at the moment,
Guys,
Annie
top
wasn't
tower's getting
particularly
beat
paying
down.
attention to that, and as a result, got punished for it. Meanwhile, we do see XCT trying his best to prevent this pulling or tunneling being done by Will. He successfully had done so. In fact, he's going to pull through by himself. And because, like we talked about, the Wisp and Keeper Alive, not exactly your true strongest support available, look at the huge amount of experience that XCT is going to gain under his tower. He just skilled Reactive Armor just now as well. Not that he needed it in lane because he was not really dealing against anything in lane. So he's going to have basically free farm and get to level 3. And once he does get level 3, free lane.
Yeah, this is going to be absolutely fantastic. If he really wants, he can go for a cute little line making on Timbersaur, which is the Poor Man's Shield, and then the Weaver Harass, the Wisp Harass, does next to nothing combined with Reactive Armor. I love Poor Man's Shield on Timbersaur. I think it's fantastic as an off-lane hero.
I feel that Stout Shield is more than enough with Reactive Armor. But yeah, if you want to go for the Gusto and say, I'm going to dive, 8 creeps, 2 towers, and, everybody's a harass, you definitely could do so as well. Stormster, by the way, mid lane's going to secure himself a double damage rune. Unfortunately, doesn't have a bottle to put that one in. Shiki already has his bottle despite the death because he's rushing for it. So slight advantage there to him, I guess.
And Timbersaur got 8 of those last hits, now onto 9 last hits under his tower, which is not something easy to do as sort of an off-lane hero. He's got boots already. He's doing so well at this top lane.
Yeah, he's also actually skipped his reactive armor at level 3. That's how
Okay.
confident he is at the lane. I think normally if you're facing a little bit more harass, you do get reactive armor at 3, but he says, you know what, let's put in a little bit more harass with Whirling Death. And in fact, yeah, you can see that Wisp is actually being zoned away from the lane. He doesn't really care at all. He's going to pull the creep wave and again, pull it safely back to his tower. XCD cannot be stopped on this top lane.
Yeah, Keeper Lights decided that they're just going to accept the fact that the Timbersaur is going to have a fantastic time up there. He's stacking neutral camps over in the Dire jungle, which I think right now it's too late to really stop the Timbersaur. He's going to be level 4 in a second now, get a very fast level 5. This guy is going to be a huge threat. And once he hits level 6, the supports have to almost leave this top lane because they will just straight up die to him. Weaver can't really offer a whole lot. Timbersaur, with early levels, is just so deadly for supports.
Yeah, I think Keeper of Light, I guess in a sense it's okay because he can just always stay very, very far back and uses Illuminate's range, 1600 cast range, to his advantage. Meanwhile, of course, there is Tether for Wisp to get out, but yeah, they're not going to do anything in terms of stopping him even further. So I think right now what they're doing is probably the correct thing. Maybe they're going to try to set up a kill. Here comes Takushi, Tether stun, and then Illuminate's going to be trying to fire through, but yeah, there's a hook and he is out of there. Nice attempt.
They're going to keep on chip, do a bit more chip damage here, but this is not going to bother Timbersaur at all. He got a second point of reactive armor for this, so he doesn't even have to salve up here. He'll get a ton of regen just from that reactive armor point. He wants to just keep on draw the creep aggro. He attacks a hero, so he draws the creep aggro at top lane, gets a few more charges, and well, that's just going to give him the free regen he needs.
Yeah, that's really the reason why reactive
mid
armor
tower
allows
will last
Timbersaur to go on the
much
mid
longer.
lane and dominate the mid lane because there's so much aggro drawing by both players, and you tank the creep away a little bit. You're actually, ironically, at the full HP.
Dire's
XCD
mid tower
still
could use a
harassing
little
away with
help.
Rolling Death. They're doing a good job in terms of keeping his HP low enough such that a Tether Spirit combo maybe actually get him done. XCD though says, I'm zoning you back out. I got Rolling Death.
Yeah, he's playing really well in this top lane. Nature's Prophet, unfortunately, bottom lane has been completely pushed out of the lane. He is just level 2, so level 2 off-lane Prophet compared to a level 5 off-lane Timbersaur. This is a really good start for Tongfu, and Prophet gone straight to the jungle. There was a bit of a stack here, which for Prophet, it's not necessarily a good thing, because it makes it really hard and sort of inefficient to kill with Treants.
Yeah, but a little bit better for Keeper of Light, as he was able to use one of his Illuminates to blow through these creeps. In fact, a couple big creeps being secured here by Nature's Prophet. He's very, very far away from that Hanamitis, but eventually we'll get there. How's Shiki doing on the mid lane? He's got level 6 in 5 minutes despite dying. In fact, he's actually doing a lot better than Mu. If you look at the experience game, Mu just turned level 6, so Shiki holding his own as a melee hero on the mid lane. Doing a couple of denies here.
Well, they're even, like, he TP'd him immediately after dying, he TP'd in, so he didn't miss a single point of creep experience. So they're they both get to level 6 at the same time. Mu is just farming so much better there. They actually get XCT at the top lane.
Surprise, yeah, looked away, not expecting a kill there. But looks like it was just Tether and Spirits. XTD, his HP a little bit too low, and was able to get punished as a result. Back in the mid lane here, Shiki hitting level 6, that's a big deal because he's able to perhaps set up a couple of ganks here. A solo kill gank maybe on, let's say, Zoe, or maybe, or not Zoe, ZSMJ perhaps, or Shan. But for now, the Tong Fu trialing has pushed down a tier 1 tower and looking for tier 2. Ring of Besatus is turned on, and here comes a rotation from the Keeper Alive, trying to slow down this push.
Yeah, they can't just give up more than the tier 1 tower. The tier 2 tower needs to be defended, which they're doing just that. I'd love to see Nyx Assassin even go for a gank maybe on the top lane on that Timbersaw. If you can slow him down, get another kill there, that would help out this Weaver a ton, because he's having a bit of a tough time. He's got treads up. He almost just needs to go for a fast ring of health, something just to give him HP regen to sustain himself in this lane, but I don't see him really doing all too well in this 1v1 against Timbersaw.
Yeah, meanwhile here, Morphling's already got the Perseverance of the Lincoln Sphere up. I feel like this game is one of those games where you could even go for shotgun if you feel aggressive enough, but he's going to play ultra safe. Of course, Zoe is a very, very safe carry player. He's not a player that aggressively goes into a lot of team fights, although, with that said, his Lifestealer may be a different story. But this game, he's going to go for a very, very safe and quick Perseverance.
Yep, and for Tong Fu fans, this is looking very good. We're only 7 minutes into the game, but the gold lead is over 3,000. They're just out-farming their opponents. The top 3 last hitters all on the Radiant side. Weaver just sort of surpassing the Timbersaw as I say that, but Timbersaw, he's got Arcane Boots up in the off lane, going to be hitting level 7. The Dire supports, they're just not really able to offer a whole lot. They can't roam around the map. Keeper Light's just very sort of passive in a sense, good at defending, good at sort of holding his ground, but Wisp as well with this lineup. Do we even sort of look towards relocate ganks happening when he hits level 6? I
mean, you have to, right? You have to rely on that as a comeback mechanic because looks like we have a little bit of mispulling going on in the jungle as they miss a couple of Illuminates. Another Illuminate's going to get fired off, and, well, there you go. Prophet's going to try to get up. Once he has a Midas, I feel like this any team isn't supposed to be winning the lane stage. They know walking into the lane stage, they will have a tough time shutting down XTT. They know they're not going to do anything to Zill's Morphling. And they're going to say, we're going to weather the early game storm and try to come back in the mid game. They have insane mobility. When you have Relocate, when you have Recall, when you have Nature's Prophet TP, they're looking to set up a couple kills all over the map and then try to push off of it. But I feel like Tong Fu's lineup is just a little bit too mobile on its own right. With his Storm Zip, obviously, as well as the chain coming from XDT, as well as Morphling's Relocate himself, or Replicate, excuse me.
Yeah. And
they're able to keep up, I think.
Yeah, they're getting so much value from this offlane Timbersaw. He's contesting the Weaver's farm. Weaver on just 37, 38 CS, whereas Zhou, he's up to 57 in the safe lane.
Yeah, looks like Tiger.
He's been caught out by Timbersaw in the jungle, and that's going to slow down his Midas by a lot. He was getting very close, that it looked like. I didn't see his gold before he died, but it would have been around 1,300 or so.
Yeah, somewhat unfortunate to be farming under this particular spot. You gotta expect a ward coming out from the Radiant. You know, after the first Nightfall. That it was there. XCT just made a free rotation there, picked up a kill. In fact, he's now harassing. Oh, Illuminate, if that hits, it will not hit, however. And Tether's Sun's gonna come in. He's dropping quite low. In fact, you can see that a lot of damage is available.
Oh,
he misses a chain. That's gonna be the death of him. He does do a ton of damage before dying, though. If he hit the chain, he was gonna survive.
Yeah, he would have survived, and if Weaver kept chasing and he turned around, maybe even Weaver would have gone down there, because he only got the one chakram damage from the initial pass through, not the one return pass through. So that was a bit dicey for NE, but they do come out on top of that. We're going to see Storm TP towards mid lane, maybe look for a kill here on Nyx Assassin with the Visage's help, but he's actually just going to go straight into the jungle. Moo's got to smoke it himself. He is going to be maybe looking to start rotating around the map, help out some of these other lanes.
If he wants to go for a kill, he does have a double damage on top of him, and maybe could make it go. Shauna is back on the mid lane. Somewhat difficult to make that going, considering that, oh no, never mind, he's going to go in, pull is going to get used immediately. The stun's going to come through, nice stun, 1-2, and they are going to get the kill. Relocate comes in right now, and moves out of mana at this point. They're going to try to focus him down to about half HP. Then Zeri comes through as well. ZZZ is going to get focused down, but not before they take down the Stormster. Meanwhile, Will trying to get back the Bird damage output, insane triple kill out of Sansheng. Soul Assumption, Bird's Micro. You cannot ignore this here on a team fight, and that's what happened when you
And at 9-10 minutes into the game, Visage has 2k gold. That is insane. He could just buy a Midas of his own right now.
I don't think that's a bad choice. He's going to actually
profit
go...
who? And Zhou gets tier 2 bottom?
Yeah.
Like, he's just solo pushing now.
Yeah, he's got 2,400 gold as well. He's going to hit like a 11-12 minute Lincoln Sphere, which is absolutely insane. XCT says, relocate to the mid lane, fail gank. I'm going to push down a tower of my own. And suddenly, I mean, it was okay for any for, I want to say, for the first 10 minutes or so. And in that 20-second of engagement, they have lost so much. If you look at the go graph, the spike upwards is insane.
Yeah, that is a colossal lead that Tong Fu picked them up. Mu played that really well. He knew he had 150 mana. He could have used it to zip out, but decided, let's just drop a Remnant and fight them, give this extra damage, even though he ends up going down. Gets his team a huge advantage from that mid lane fall, and now we're going to see the pressure come on the tier 1 tower, but pushing into the Keeper Light Illuminate, always going to be a big challenge, and a bit of a slow and heavy and hard to deal with push.
Yeah, one thing I'm pretty impressed with Tong Fu support is that they've been constantly keeping up Sentry Wards on the mid lane. This is the second Sentry Ward that they drop against the Nyx Assassin. That's something that you have to do. You have to keep track of his movement on the mid lane or away from the mid lane. Mu, by the way, smoke and haste it up, looking perhaps for a solo kill. Man, if Prophet gets picked off here, that's really one sour Prophet. But
do they see him smoke or get the rune maybe? Because he's playing at his tier 3 tower. I think that maybe the ward saw the haste rune get picked up.
You know, back in top lane here, another kill going against XTT. I mean, even though these kills, to answer your question, I don't think the smoke was detected. I think this ward was dropped a little bit too late on the mid lane to detect that. Back in the mid lane, the Shiki runs right back in. Sansheng trying to go for the last. He's got to see. Oh no, he wasn't watching the map, but he's gonna be fine. He's so damn tanky. He's got the mech finish. 2
points in Gravekeeper's Cloak as well as a mech. There is no way in hell they're killing him unless they bring in maybe a Wisp relocate gank, but Wisp only with 200 HP. Probably what he was calling for was like, hey Wisp, relocate into this, but wasn't going to come.
Yeah, Wisp got harassed down quite low. Mu teleporting back up top, maybe setting him yet another kill, but very good Observer Ward being placed. This is a fairly defensive Observer Ward because you can't spot out those PPs coming in. And as a result, you can see that Will is backing off on the top.
Well, XCT, I feel XCT's Timbersaw, it's been pretty good all around, but a few just unnecessary deaths in general. But his farm right now and where he is at this game is exactly where he wants to be.
Yeah, I think sad thing to say is that his matchup was so easy. Well, back in the mid lane here, Shiki's going to get burst down. Well, before doing so, he pops off the spike here, but Sansheng's going to get burst down. ZSMJ forces Song to use it defensively, and maybe he's going to wait for his allies to come in. Yeah, I think they're going to try to wait out the, looks like Storm's going to get Tether stun. He's going to be okay still, though. They're going to focus on ZZ. Go back in time. He's going to be okay as well. Zips right, zips finally get the pull up. ZZ not realizing their Sentry Ward down on the ground. Let's see if he's going to be dead. No, he does have the Sakuchi to get himself out of there.
Dodges that last waveform, which really helped him out. Zhou taking a lot of damage now, morphing his strength. They are going to lose the Wisp. It looks like one more auto attack coming out from the Storm Spirit. As Nyx Assassin very low. XCT wants it. This kill is going to need a Chakram, the familiar stun, trying to help out. Illuminate. XCT very low once again, and he's on the run. He is going to have Weaver Swarm being dropped onto him. And ZZZ, got to be careful. He's low money. He has got Magic Wand charges. Not going to need to pop them as it looks like XCT is going to survive that one. But Visage getting blown up by his own Soul Assumption on the Spike Carapace.
Yeah, very good Spike Carapace activation by there. I think it blocked one of the auto attack from Storm. The Burst Micro are really good afterwards. I think one thing to talk about is the player performance out of Tongfu. They have the very good matchup. We talked about XCT up on the top lane having a favorable matchup, but despite of that dying a couple of times, I don't think it matters in this game because they're so far ahead. But in a closer game, perhaps against a better opponent, that's the thing that will lose you a game like that. So I think despite winning this game, Tongfu can't be too happy with the performance so far.
Yeah, I think it's something where they'll still look at the replay and say, hey, this is how you need to play this matchup differently. I mean, just for XCT, learning when he needs to back off, how much damage he can take as that offlane Timbersaw. And it's going to be one of those heroes which the Chinese haven't really been using all that much. A lot of the Western teams have been using him as a solo mid, but the Chinese teams have been experimenting as an off, seem to sort of still be adjusting a bit.
Yeah, he's really one of those heroes that if you survive with, let's say, 100 HP and you keep baiting, them to go deeper and deeper for Yuki is insane. But it's a deep line that you're flirting with life and death. And so far, XCT is on one side more than the other. And we'll see if he's going to be improving as this game goes along.
I feel like it's more like a Bambo hero, not like a Chinese Dota hero.
Yeah, definitely a Bambo hero. By the way, shout out to Bambo, the only player that has negative points in TI2 fantasy history. Just want to always throw that out there.
TI3 they made it so no one can go negative.
Wait, why can't you go negative?
Well, you didn't get minus points, did you? Wasn't it only...
You do get minus points.
Okay, I wasn't sure how it
Bamboo
worked.
could have made it happen. It looks like Lumina's going to try to defend a tier 2 tower, or tier 1 tower in the mid lane. It's going to get glyphed, but tower's going to go down eventually. Really hard to defend against a hero like Storm, like Timbersaw, as they can zip in on you at any time. They get a free tier 1 tower. Is anything being gone out? Is it just me, or is the Chakram animation bugging the hell out of you?
I didn't see anything too buggy there. Maybe
Okay.
we're playing on the perfect world servers. We haven't actually had. Let us know in
Knock
chat
on
or
wood,
give
but we
us
haven't-
yeah, give us any feedback. Tweet at us, whatever it may be, if there are problems with the audio. Those of you in Dota TV, but we haven't had people complaining like they normally do with the perfect world servers having really bad Dota TV audio. So maybe it's been fixed.
Maybe.
Because that's what I actually just realized. We're on perfect world servers here, but it seems audio is fine. Prophet's going to TP in towards the middle lane. They're trying to go on Sancheng here. He's sprouted out, which means no Vendetta damage, and he doesn't take a whole lot. He's got 3 points in Gravekeeper's Cloak, so all that damage gets really negated by Sancheng.
Well, they're actually going to cancel the song. They go
man.
right back. Wolf, perhaps dropping a little bit low. No, he's going to be fine. Nobody's actually focusing. He's going to be back okay, but Shiki dropping low. Shiki's going to be dead. Zoe gets a double kill. They want Tiger. Tiger's going to get in the snare, and he's going to be dead as well. Looks like, yep, blown up by the Chakram. So I really like the fact that, as we have ZZZ Sakuchi back out, I really like the fact that this is one of the few Chinese teams that picks up Wisp and use it very aggressively. I like the Chinese teams like to hold on to that relocate and just maybe even use it defensively, but this is like the third or fourth relocate gank that we've seen. The ganks haven't really been successful, but I really like the fact they're using it.
They just don't really have the lineup, and they're just so far behind. They're at such a big item disadvantage. It doesn't feel like they're able to take any sort of a fight right now. And also going on the Visage, who had 1100 HP with a mech, and the first few spells they threw at him, like the Impale, does no damage because he had 4 stacks of Gravekeeper's Cloak, so he negated all of the big high burst damage spells.
Yeah, I think if the game is going to Tongfu, it seems like it is, I think it's going to be back to that mid-engagement where Shanshan grabbed a triple kill, because when you give a hard support Visage like a 12-minute mech for free like that, it is so hard to win any type of engagement afterwards, especially when your lineup is based on burst damage output, with your Wisp Spirits, with your Nyx Assassin ganks, as well as depending a lot on the graphic nature damage output early on. So it's not looking good. Meanwhile, though, very smart bait coming out on the top lane. You know Nature's Prophet is a hero that they're going to go on Mood thinking about it already, but Shiki vendetted up, so Hunter gets hunted, perhaps Mood. Yeah, there you go, baited. They're going to try to focus him down. These are the plays that Enemy is going to try to make and get a couple of comebacks. Very, very good punish. Very smart play here by Shiki.
Yeah, that was great awareness coming out from any team. Knew that that Moog couldn't resist that. There's a TP coming top from XCD. He's a big creep wave. He's actually going to try to chase down the Prophet.
Whoa!
Doesn't even go for the creep wave.
Looks like
Very close.
Yeah, XCT unfortunately did not drop his rolling death next to creep, and it wasn't pure damage output. It was magical instead. Not too sure whether it made a difference, but it looked pretty close.
It looked like Tong Fu was thinking about going for a bit of a push try in the game, but they get distracted at top lane. Lose Storm. Timbersaw gets forced to TP to defend the lane, so they're going to just slow things down for a little bit here. Zhou, he's got 3k gold, probably just going to go straight for that Ethereal Blade.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay for the game to slow down, because Zoe 2-0-2, Lincoln Sphere finish, and 3k go up, like you said. Once shotguns up, what is heroes like Prophet, Keeper, Weaver even, and as well as Wisp, what are they going to do?
Oh man, Nick's only just got Arcane Boots. That's really just how dire this position is for Team NE. They've just got no farm at all, and Keeper like going to get caught out. Easy kills being found by Tongfu.
Yeah, elementary mistake that you don't see a lot of top Chinese pro teams make. You don't go off warding when you're up against a Storm or Timbersaw and being down by so much. Shiki again, trying the same tricks as, hey guys, I'm farming my Weaver on the bot lane. He's a very killable target. He's actually scouring into the enemy jungle, perhaps looking for a solo kill, but yeah, aside from that one pick off on the top lane, that was literally the first kill that Nyx Assassin was successfully involved in. Gonna go for a Shiki kill. Nicely done. Relocate gonna be used as well. Yeah, everything being dropped, it's okay. I mean, you do drop everything for these kills because you might as well, right? You have nothing to lose because this game it feels like out of their reach. And if you could find a solo pickoff like that, it kind of delays it by quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't think the Wisp and Weeb even got there in time, but they just want to ensure the kill. And relocate right now isn't an important ultimate to have when your opponents are just grouped up pushing, because relocate is not going to be needed to really defend necessarily. So
Right.
it's worth using it, guarantee these kills, and they are going to give up a tier 2 tower top, but Storm Spirit, his Orchid's been slowed down a bit more, and just good, useful golden experience going the way of any. They need anything they can get. They're behind by almost 15,000 gold now. The experience, not quite as bad. It's only 6 to 7k there.
Yeah, I think a lot of these solo kills, or 2-3-man kills, very helpful here for any to make a comeback. So, not down, but definitely not out yet for any. So, what does ND actually stand for again? I'm keep forgetting. Because I keep wanting to say Nordic Esport, which they definitely are not.
That I cannot tell you right now.
Something Esport though. New Sport? Don't know.
It's Chinese team. Would they actually use New Elements?
New Elements. There you
Oh,
go.
that's it. They wouldn't have Chinese teams wouldn't have like esport in their name. I feel since it's like an English word.
Yo, what are you trying to say?
Like a Western team wouldn't have like a Chinese word in their team name.
All right.
I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Don't try to say anything, Lumi.
Man, you get. I gotta create some drama, when there's no drama to be created.
It's gone quiet, unfortunately. The drama area of esport of Dota right now.
Oh, you know somebody's always trying to create drama. Zoe's gonna be trying to get some CS on the dot lane. There's a shotgun being finished.
Yikes! This is gonna be able to blow up anyone. Until even when he gets a Lincoln can maybe survive it. Nyx Assassin if he carapace is really fast. But the two supports Nature's Prophet are just gonna be food for Joe.
I wish I have that one link bookmark as we see shotgun coming out. Yep, Sean is dead. Relocate back out. You blink, you missed it. Good thing I didn't blink. But I wish I have that hot one link that bookmark. You know, the other day they had like a shotgun calculator back on Reddit, and you could input your levels and your amount of agility, and it'll just tell you exactly how much shotgun damage output the entire combo. Anybody got the link? Give me a calculation on Zoe's damage output right now.
With full agility,
Whatever he has got right now, 5.
I do everything, but like I'm
Five,
like an entire just like general game sense. Like I don't know, like he tell me a
So-
spell. I don't know how much damage stuff does. I just like know stuff by feel. But I would say he would do with Ethereal Blade, Adaptive Strike, and Waveform while they're ethereal. I would say he'd do about 1280 damage.
1280 damage. I think it was a little bit high. I mean, Keeper of Light had 800 damage or 700 HP. Obviously, there's magical resist, you know, and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. I'm sure somebody's cranking out the math right now, and they'll be like,
170 agility, Ethereal Blade. Okay.
with you know, obviously the waveform as well as adaptive strike on top. Meanwhile, it looks like we have a little bit of dewarding going on. We had good picks coming out of Shiki. Let's see if he could continue to trend a little bit more. He's running into a gem though. Oh, Orchid on top. Oh, none of that shenanigans has moved.
He gets some revenge there. He'd
Yeah.
been getting hunted by that Nixus. He's 2-3 Moo, unfortunately. Well, he was 1-3 before that. Not because of any poor play on his own account.
Just really good focus fire coming out. Yeah. But now with the shotgun being picked up, with the map control fully on the side of Tongfu, and the fact that they're just completely dewarding, farming the enemy jungle, is there anything that Nordic Esport, no? New Elements could do any, like they could hold the base maybe with Wrath of Nature as well as Illuminate, but I feel like they're just one storm jump away from being dead.
And that's only once every 75 seconds they can hold the base, if that's the case. Because that Wrath of Nature is got a long cooldown, something that they're going to have to be very, very sort of conservative with, because they're going to need that for these team fights. There we go. They go in, the shotgun at top lane, blows up the Wisp. How much HP did he have? He would have been around the 1k mark.
Not enough.
The Ethereal, Adaptive, and Waveform did do enough damage.
Yep.
1218 apparently.
Damn, what was your call? 1280?
Yeah. I thought 1280 was a little high. But I was thinking, I knew it would be like around the 1200-ish mark.
That's sense.
Yeah.
Was godlike. That's all I gotta say.
There was no Asian maths there. That was, it's
Yeah.
just 8 years of playing Dota. I feel like it's even been more than 8 years. I'm just used to like telling people like, oh, I've been playing Dota 6, 7, 8 years, but I feel like it's almost the 10-year mark now.
When are we
How
gonna?
long have you been playing Dota, Lumi?
I played since the Dota Point 4.2 patch.
Radiant's bottom
So
tower has been
not as long as
disowned.
a lot of the other veteran players.
Has it been 10 years? We need to have like a 10-year,
The
we've been
Dire
playing
might
Dota
want
for
to
10 years
mine
party.
the top
Although
tower.
I don't know. Like,
How many
everyone
people go?
started at a different time, but
Hey, you could go to that party and try to splat out Ice Rock. There's that. Right?
yeah,
It's like this guy's Ice Rock, maybe. Ice Rock won't even show up to that party. I'm just saying. But now Breach Travel back up on Morphling, so you are literally nowhere safe. Good thing to know if you are on New Elements.
Yeah, good thing to know, but maybe they can be safe with their own balance. ZZZ is just going to pressure ZSMG at the mid lane. And here comes Nyx Assassin. Relocate gank, anything? No?
No,
But there's a backstab.
Oh, and ZSMJ thinks the same. Meanwhile, looks
Dagon
like...
Timbersaw.
Yeah, they are going to get ZSMJ. Maybe got to kill him before the song comes in. They do get the kill. Meanwhile, NCT getting a little bit of spike. Everybody's trying to TP out, but three-man stun coming out from Shansheng. Do they want Shiki or do they want... They don't really know who they want, but Shiki going to get focused. Dagon coming out. Looks like one kill is going to get cleared up. Tiger's on the run. He should be okay as well.
I don't know if he's okay. He can't really TP out because of the familiar stun. He's going to drop a Wrath of Nature here, try and just escape. Meanwhile, Wisp goes down, and there's no escape for Tiger. The familiars will stun him if he tries to TP. He can't sprout TP because familiars, well, they get vision. They're right on top of him. And
Familiars OP. This looks like the saddest chase ever.
Yeah, it really is. I don't know where he's going from here.
He ain't walking home, I can tell you that.
Enemy fountain.
Yeah, there you go. That's so sad. That's so sad indeed. Meanwhile, Zoe's just doing work up top, getting solo kills after solo kill. I mean, no disrespect to any trying to hold this game. As Shotgun comes out, oh, Shauna, Binding Light, yeah, that's gonna survive a little bit longer. Can he gallop his way back to the fountain? He will! He will! The horse, 350 movement speed base. Zoe's gonna get stunned as well. Spirit's on top, he's gonna relocate back out. So at least Shauna saves himself, but I wonder when GG's gonna come out because I just don't see them dealing with Zoe, dealing with Storm, dealing with CT.
Yeah, game number 1 looks very, very over all of a sudden. NE, they put up a good fight, but suddenly we're at 20, 25k gold lead for Tongfu. They've got all their big items, and we're just seeing that NE, New Element, have no way of taking the fight to them. Their Weaver with the Lincolns sure he can survive, but they have no way of killing most of these Tongfu heroes.
Yeah, I think Stormsurge... Oh, here we go. Zip on Shiki on top, and here we go. Shiki's going to get blown up. Shotgun's going to fall through as well. Relocate being used. Not able to make it off. Sol Siren allowing him to dive even deeper. Urn being used. Shauna's going to get focused. 2-3 hits. He is dead as well. And that's got to be GG. Sakuchi is the only... Oh, maybe not, as Tiger just farms into the... Alright.
He just wants, he needs to make sure he can get that Orchid up as, nope, they're going to call the GG. The Wisp player does do so, and Tongfu, they take game number 1, the new roster. I mean, you mentioned they didn't really feel like a team that would be winning the International, and I still feel after watching that game, I mean, this is their first official match, that they still have some kinks to work out.
Yeah, a lot of kinks to work out, a little bit of rust coming out, a couple of these players, but, you know, good enough against any.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you need in these opening matches, just get these wins, work things out as a team, and their big matches will be coming up next. I believe they verse, well, this is a best of 3, so we will have game 2, but should they win, they're going to verse the winner of LGD China, as well as Mineski.
So Mineski?
Yes, as well as Mineski, exactly. But yeah, it was a nice way to start things off here. Tongfu, fast 25-minute win, so.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we have seen from Annie as well as Ogura,
yep.
Ogura Yue. One thing they should be focusing a little bit more is laning. I don't think you could pick this lineup that says we're going to sacrifice the laning stage and then maybe do a mid-game comeback through relocate or global map advantage. I think these teams are just so much better in terms of individual skills as well as maybe coordination that you have to focus a bit more on the early game stage and maybe go for a snowball victory. So
they had weak laning stage as well as, I mean, their comeback was coming through ganking, not even team fight.
Yeah.
Like, their team fights was kind of poor.
Which, in terms of ganks, they executed some of them brilliantly with the baits on Stormsurge. That was pretty smart. Ganking Storm in jungle, that was nice. But I think perhaps a different strategy is entailed.
Yeah, I think the safest way is just to go for strong lanes and then have lanes which with heroes which also sort of scale well to those team fight stages of the game. Have your life stealer trial lane, have a solo mid which can do okay in his lane, and then offer like your puck type heroes. But it's Tongfu who take game 1. We'll take a quick break, guys. When we come back, we'll have game number 2. Tongfu trying to steal the deal, get a 2-0 victory over Team New Element.